Yo, what is up guys, and welcome back to Make 80s Entertainment. I'm your host as always, Adam McGahee. Coming back at you guys with yet another video from the pages of the gory story that made this channel what it is today, and that of course is Marvel Zombies. We've already covered the most evil zombies from the franchise, which I'll have linked below, and today we're coming at you with a different list, and that would be the top 5 most disgusting moments from the iconic franchise. This upload is just taking moments from the first comic, so naturally, if this video does well, there will definitely be more of these lists coming. So you better like and subscribe and all that good stuff. Or maybe, just maybe, I'll send Zombie Spider-Man to come pay you a visit tonight around 2 a.m. You hear a bump downstairs tonight when you're watching this video? It's just your friendly neighborhood zombie stopping in for a late night snack. With that said, let's get on with what you came here for. Grab a chicken breast and a protein shake, because we're healthy here now. Sit back, relax, and witness the top 5 most disturbing moments from Marvel Zombies 1. Number 5. Magneto's Death. Good old Magneto. Dude is probably one of the biggest chads in comic history, who just so happens to be portrayed by 2 additional chads on the big screen, starts off the Marvel Zombies tale by having one of the most disturbing deaths in the series. Despite being a royal pain in the X-Men sides for years, Eric quickly went from one of Marvel's greatest villains to one of its greatest heroes when the Marvel Zombies virus began its reign of terror over Earth 2149. Saving which survivors he could, Magneto even managed to get them through a portal to another dimension where they could be safe, where he then used his powers to blow up the multiverse machine, locking the zombies in with him. This of course made the already hangry zombies even hangrier, where they then set their sights on the villain, where he then went to war with the creatures, using his abilities to tear into their rotted flesh, which on a normal day would have killed a ton of them, but since they were zombies, it only slowed them down, with even the likes of Colonel America getting his head sliced in half, which only slightly annoyed the guy that his brains were now hanging out of his head. And before you comment, Colonel America? Don't you mean, Captain America? Fun fact, this is one of the very few dimensions where Steve Rogers has the rank of Colonel instead of Captain. I know someone's going to comment about it anyway, but I tried. Mags would put up a great fight, where he even managed to decapitate the likes of Hawkeye and brought an entire building down in the Avengers. But unfortunately, our boy tapped into his inner Vegeta a little too far and proceeded to gloat before he could fully secure the win, where he then had his neck torn out by Zombie Wasp, who snuck up behind him. The undead would argue about who would get the first taste, where Hulk would quickly put an end to this debate by ripping off the guy's leg while he was still alive, where we'd then be greeted to a very gruesome sight of the man getting viciously torn apart panel by panel. Man, if they ever do live action Marvel Zombies, let's keep Michael Fassbender far away. He's way too handsome to go out like this. Number 4. Zombie Bruce Banner's stomach issues. This moment always grosses me out every time I come back to it, and that is what happens with Zombie Hulk after he eats too much and turns back into Bruce Banner. So remember how I mentioned before how Hulk ripped off Magneto's whole leg? Well, he would proceed to eat the entire thing, bone and all, where he then hit a food coma and turned back into his human counterpart. However, Bruce did not have the nigh indestructible skin and organs that the Hulk did, so his small human-sized stomach was not strong enough to handle the full-on adult male leg resting in there, where he then complained he felt his stomach was going to burst. He even had Thor whack him in the face with his makeshift hammer to try to turn him back into the Hulk, but it didn't work and actually made things even more disturbing, because his face was now squished silly putty, where he began to talk with a muffled and gurgled speech impediment. Moments after, we'd see Banner's worst nightmare come true, as his stomach would erupt as we'd see rotted green slime emerge from his abdomen along with the bones of the deceased Magneto. I remember I was like in 7th grade when this came out, and I specifically was in physics class reading this and could not believe my eyes. Needless to say, I absolutely was not paying attention to the lesson, as 13-year-old me was too busy getting traumatized. Number 3. Wolverines Arm Issues. This one also deeply disturbs me to this day, and that would be what happens to Wolverine's arm after the Silver Surfer comes to Earth. As most of you know, in the story, the Silver Surfer would eventually come to this planet and warn the heroes of the impending arrival of his master Galactis. But the only thing on their mind was the buff, naked Silverman, where they went to eat him, which resulted in a war between the Herald and the undead. Thor would eventually be able to knock the dude off his board, where the zombies would leap at the chance to get in a nibble. One of these heroes was Wolverine, who rudely shoved his bros aside, saying that the Surfer was all his. He'd immediately go to eat those words though, for as he tried to slice at the guy, he would discover that his rotting adamantium claws were no match for the Surfer's pristine chrome cosmic flesh, as we'd see the bone rip right out of Logan's arm as he'd scream out in agony. Looking on at this mere flesh wound, Logan would remark that he missed his healing factor, but would just suck it up as this was his life now, where he would just rip out the remaining bones out of his arm and would cut off the remaining dangling flesh. This, high-key, is one of the most disgusting moments for me. It's like mixing a hangnail and fingernails on a chalkboard and blending it all in a blender. And the blender is in hell. Number 2. Poor Galactus. Coming in at number 2, we have one of the most iconic moments from Marvel Zombies, and that would be the fate of Galactus himself. After the Surfer was killed, a select few would be able to eat him where they absorbed his powers. The unsuspecting Galactus, thinking this was a routine world eating, would come to the planet and announce to the heroes he was getting ready to dine, only for the zombies, seeing nothing but a giant purple chicken nugget, would attack the being with their new cosmic abilities. This would not have an effect on someone as powerful as Galactus though, where he'd then unleash his power, causing them to go into hiding. Despite being zombies, the Avengers such as Tony Stark, Giant Man, and Bruce Banner still retain their vast intelligence from when they were human, and managed to build a giant laser, which managed to harness their cosmic power into one concentrated blast, which was actually able to hurt Galactus, which sent him falling to the ground in pain. The gang would then leap onto the giant, where they'd rip and tear into him and would feed on his flesh for literal months. They would then gain his powers and would go throughout the galaxy, pillaging and eating everything and everyone in existence. Just this panel alone of them eating Galactus is so messed up. I very much feel bad for the guy. You got Hulk punching a literal hole through his hips, Wolverine tearing his leg open, and Spider-Man already reaching into an open wound on his quad, and Iron Man is literally ripping his face off. It's like being attacked by Pikmin, except these Pikmin are not cute, they're grown men, and they're cannibals. Number 1. Basically, everything Giant Man was up to. We all knew it was coming. We've talked him to death and undeath, but Giant Man is the most evil and disturbing dude in this entire story. Even prior to becoming a zombie himself, Hank would see he was bitten, where he then hid it from Black Panther, and when T'Challa would discover this, Giant Man would knock the guy out and bring him down to his tetanus-filled mad scientist basement lab, where he would then keep the guy drugged as a backup snack for when he turned. True to his word upon his transformation, Hank would sneak away from the heroes time to time and make his way down to the lab, where he would then visit the drug warrior and would saw off his literal body parts and would slowly eat them so that way he could think straight in between meals. In a highly disturbing panel, Hank reveals that he came to love the taste of human flesh, even noting that if they found a cure and were to become human again, he absolutely for a fact would still eat people. I definitely have made this joke before, but, maybe Marvel was wrong in casting Michael Douglas as Hank Pym. It should have been Armie Hammer, because he's an actual cannibal. Look into that guy. Or you know what? Maybe don't. Upon discovering his secret beautiful chocolate man, Wasp would call out her husband on keeping the goods to himself, where the pair would begin to argue. Janet would threaten the man with blackmail, saying that she would tell the other heroes about this, where Hank said he absolutely could not let that happen. He would then brutally beat his own wife, where he then used his powers to grow in size, and would bite her head off and toss her lifeless body to the side like it was utter trash. All that domestic disputing must have really worked up an appetite, as Hank then went to town on one of Black Panther's feet, where T'Challa would then awaken as his drugs began to wear off, where he then begged his former friend to kill him and put him out of his misery. Absolutely not letting go of that dark meat, Pym then told the man to shut up and that he needed to find a stronger sedative so he could continue his feast in peace. And those were my top 5 most disturbing moments from Marvel Zombies 1. This whole saga is a disgusting good time filled with moments just like this, so you better believe there's more videos like this to come. I know that we have the upcoming Marvel Zombies TV show coming later this year, and I'm very curious as to whether the violence and dark subject matter will match that of this original series. Me a year ago would have said absolutely not, but for anyone who's watched Daredevil Born Again, I think Commissioner Gallows' fate may be the most Marvel Zombies moment we've gotten in Marvel yet. It's literally the most violent scene out of any superhero movie I've seen, so needless to say, there's hope for the Marvel Zombies show, boys. Needless to say though, I want to hear what you think. What's your favorite Marvel Zombies moment? Are you excited for the show, and do you think Disney could live up to the original source material? Sound off in the comments. Also be sure to give this video a like if you enjoyed today's content, subscribe to the channel, and tap the bell icon to be notified of all of our latest videos. As always, I also wanted to let you guys know that our superhero training program is live. If you're ready to get your confidence back and finally get in the superhero shape you've always dreamed of, you can follow me on Instagram at McGady'sFitness. You can shoot me a message with code SUPER, and I'll send you our free summer shredded Spider-Man program. Here's to your superhero origin story. Thank you so much for watching. Remember, you are awesome and loved. God bless, and I will see you in the next one.